Today we're mixing the Lalo with some fireball action in Legends League, and we're gonna see how these two work together because I think it can be the best Lalo variation. Alright, here we are on a core town hall base and you can see the strategy. Obviously guys, we're gonna have 7 healers in this army. One of them, actually like 5 of them, I'm gonna use it for the warden. And 2 healers we're gonna use with the queen healer puppet and the giant arrow. Now we're gonna have a nice fireball onto the multi inferno because it definitely gives me a good funnel. And guys, for this type of bases that the town hall is inside the core, what you really want to do is a very good queen giant arrow through like one of the corners with the log launcher and one earthquake spell. That's why we got 3 earthquake spell. So we can use 2 with the warden and you can use 1 with the queen. We have a king kind of a bit separated with the queen too, but I will tell you guys once we reach that point. Just make sure the warden is safe and sound. Obviously you kind of either need to rage, you need to invis, or you need to drop a headhunter if you want to deal with the enemy hero. In this case I went with an invis. Now throughout this video, I actually by the time I'm recording this, I actually edited the army a bit. So one free spell, we're gonna have a frost spell. If you can see there is good value, go with the frost. Going with that fireball, giving that value very nicely. Now I noticed the warden will end up going to the top side, so I'm definitely going to have the queen on the lower side with the log launcher, giant arrow, healers, mini warden. Don't forget the cocoon, and of course the earthquake spell that you want to deploy through that like defense that is on the other side of the wall. King a bit separated than the queen, we're gonna go with the headhunter. Meanwhile, taking a look at the warden, slight bits of multitasking. And for the RC, you are a bit, I would say, what'd you say, like versatile. So you can either drop her to help the king, you can drop her to, for example, on this side on the left to go for the town hall. You can either drop her on the top for the warden, so it can really work together nicely. On this case, we want to go for the town hall, even though the queen does have access to it, but I wasn't quite sure. Now just watch out your warden, because in this attack my warden actually gets cooked. Otherwise, the whole top side would be gone and we would have Lalo the last compartment. This is going to be kind of like that. So obviously, I would know your thought already. Okay, TK, we can do this with Rockaloons too. Well guys, obviously, but that's why this video is about Lalo, because so many people have missed dropping these troops. They've missed dropping those Lava Hound, the 1x1 defense, 3-4 loon drop. They just missed that, and that's why I'm saying this is going to be a modern day Lalo. Mixing it with the current hero dives and current hero equipment is going to be really epic. Now as you can see, this Giga Bomb, we could have avoided it with a frost spell, or not frost, ice block spell. We're gonna have those type of Giga Bombs more through this video, and you're gonna see how important the ice block is. So on the army link down below, I'm gonna have the ice block instead of one of the frost spell or freeze spell. Oh my god, I'm getting so confused. Frost, frozen, freeze, and ice block is too many spells, man. But let's move on to the next hit, which is gonna be a friendly challenge. Now on this base, I actually wanted to put the hook tower in an area where it's really tough to get it. At the same time, you wouldn't really get too much value if you even wanted to go for the hook tower. It's crazy, I would say, very scary defense for the warden walk. So what do? Completely opposite side of that base. If the hook tower is on the top half side of the base, you want to warden walk the lower half, so you're as far away as possible and your other stuff dive into that hook tower. On this case, we want to go with a nice fireball onto either the scatter or the X-ball. I was technically going to drop it on the scatter because it would have given us nice value, and yeah, you're gonna see what happens here. It's gonna be kind of funny. Now we're gonna go with an invis, going with the earthquake, but boom, there is a Tesla, but we do get the value, which is good still. But the Tesla, kind of messed us up. Hopefully, like, gladly we got that value. Now once you see the warden going to the top, again you want to go with the queen on the lower side, so you are separating them together, not together, separating them basically. Now unfortunate thing here is that if you drop the queen on the lower side and you want to drop the log launcher also on the lower side, one thing is going to happen is that queen will kind of dive into a very weird side of the base, and I didn't want that to happen quite just yet. I just wanted the log launcher to go alone. It would have probably pulled the warden too if I'm not careful, but it is what it is. On this attack, Because the compartments are huge, we're gonna have king and queen together working out and just simply doing what they can best, getting value. Our C on the left hand side on this attack, because we want to help the Sui dive into the monolith area, because the warden is just doing fine. There is not much damage on him, and you got rage spell and free spell for days. If the furnace from the clan castle come out, go with the poison spell. That's why we got the poison, so it's not necessarily going to be your fireball has to hit the clan castle. Don't worry about it. Warden still doing fine. The king is going to be pulled through, and I really wanted to pop his ability right in the core, but unfortunately the ability went off, then the king got pulled. Very weird. Now we're going with the Lalo with some, of course, like loons and minions behind. Just be a bit patient with the headhunter drop, because there is a ground expo. Make sure it's locked onto either of your heroes, then go with the headhunter, rage the Lalo. You can rage your RC, go with free spells, and you can see again we got a giga bomb here, whereas if we had a frost, it would be easy to just keep the loons alive, right? You're gonna see what happens in one of these attacks, because the loons get melted and they all drop. So obviously the frost, kind of the ice block spell really help out a lot. But hopefully you guys enjoying this till now, because oh my days, man, this Lalo is way too strong. Now here we are on the next base, and we have this one where the Warden Fireball doesn't quite give you the value, but we got some nice defenses around the clan castle. So what I'm gonna do is to Fireball right where that geared up tower is, to simply get 2 defense, some, you know, spell tower, and the clan castle. Have this Sneezy further away from the air defense. It's gonna be better, because otherwise the air defense will target it. So if you are not used to that drop, make sure you touch the air defense before the attack, and you will know where to drop the warden. The Sneezy is just gonna be above the warden, slightly behind, so take that note. Now this fireball, even though we're not going too deep, it's actually gonna be kind of insane long, because look at this range from the outside of the base with only 2 invisibilities. Crazy. Now, make sure the warden is decently safe before you start your queen area. I was going to start, but I was like, you know what? This archer tower, I'm gonna have to rage through it. And yeah, I have to rage through it. Now, I didn't really want to drop the queen right in front of the wizard tower with the log launcher, because the air defense would have targeted the healers. So we're gonna go with an angled queen and going with the healers, mini warden, then with the log launcher. And don't rush too much, of course, guys, because the queen always has access to like the core, so she can go around and come back in, and the log launcher can do amazing. Once the warden is following another hero, you have to go with the freeze, like if he's locking on it. Now this is where again we're gonna go with the RC to kind of help the heroes on the other side of the base, because the warden is just fine. There's like 1 ground expo on him later in the attack, so he's going to be fine. King ability goes off. Of course, this is where the queen will shine in the base. Notice this, you want to drop the Lalo quite earlier so you can keep things alive. Otherwise, suddenly if things start to die out, the Lalo can't handle a lot of splash damage. If it's ground, like targeting defense is cool, but if it's splash on the air, it can't handle it. But look at these loons, going to absolutely melt that entire top side, where it would really crush my royal champion and the queen together. And now with the amount of loons and troops and healers we got, holy crushing attack. Let's move on and move back to Legend League. Now we do have one of my bases here in Legends League, and I made this base with a hook tower. I don't know why this guy hasn't switched it, because that defense doesn't really work too well in the core. But these double rage box spaces are not really popular. A rage on the town hall and a rage opposite side of it, and both are in the corner of the base, so you can bait it really good. I knew some of my traps when I was hitting this space, but it was actually a bit different, because they didn't take this space from my membership. They took it from probably like, you know, somewhere just getting leaked out there, and the traps wasn't the same, so it is what it is. But what I generally would love to do on box spaces, as you saw, was a queen on the opposite side. Whereas yeah, on this attack, because we got a heavy rage tower and the town hall area is also super heavy, you need to drop the warden on one of the sides, and I didn't want to risk a 1-star, so we're gonna have a warden fireball around this rage tower area. Make sure things are set and nice before the warden dives too close to the minion prince. If he does, you have to go with headhunter drops, or for example, I don't know, like an invi spell or something. Keep the warden alive, obviously. And I personally I'm like not as confident, and I would say experienced in warden attacks, warden charge attacks. So you can see me, like you probably notice it. Now we're gonna go with Invis spell and going with that fireball onto the rage tower to try to get these, and I'm going with the extra Invis just to make sure the warden is safe. Once you see the warden choose a side, you want to go again with the opposite side, queen and king direction. Warden to the top side, I noticed there is a lot of damage and I want the warden to go for the town hall. And yeah, this is how I actually had no plan. I'm freestyling now. I literally had no plan with king and queen, and especially the log launcher. Going with another spell on the warden, we were investing so much there, and of course the log launcher is absolutely useless because the king is already in that area. So yeah, this attack is not going too well. We do have the monolith, really annoying. King is gonna open for the queen, nice and easy. This is where make sure you keep the queen and heroes alive basically, so you want to start the Lalo. But notice the Giga Bomb. Yes, there is a Giga Bomb there waiting for your loons to reach that area, or either of the heroes. It's gonna be a mad thing. So we're gonna go with some loons. We're gonna go with the Lava Hound onto that air defense. Of course, you can see the angle I dropped the Lava Hound to make sure we pull some traps. And yes, this area is full of traps, but we still managed to keep the queen alive, keep the RC alive. Meanwhile, the loons all dropped. That's where if you had a block like ice block spell, I still don't know the name, man, holy hell. If you had an ice block, the loons would all be staying alive. As I said, ice block is really good. You can also use it when your warden doesn't have a building to lock onto before the fireball, so you can keep the warden in one area and then start the fireball with that ice block. It's just a versatile spell. But let's move on to the last hit. So next up we got a rage core base, very heavy, and yeah, I'm not actually gonna go with fireball there because you know what, we want to kind of switch it up. You know, we want to get a fireball into an area where there could be not a lot of damage in it, but it's more like, I would say, easier if you get that area done, and it's probably even harder core than a rage spell. So this area is going to be our little monolith here. We would get a spell tower, we would get the clan castle, of course the monolith and the multi-inferno, and that would make a very good path behind the town hall, so our warden can go to the left with the help of our beloved baby dragon, because the baby dragon can actually make sure that some of the trash buildings are out the way, so the warden doesn't like nearly choose the other side after he does the fireball. You want to keep him to the left because he's the one to get the town hall. You want to go with the opposite side, king and queen. So warden, just make sure you rage him up or drop an invis when he's reaching to enemy hero, or as I said, drop a headhunter. You need to delay it a bit. If you drop the headhunter too quick, the ricochet cannon will shoot the headhunter way too quick for the headhunter to actually just put a shot off. You can see with the rage spell, we actually made sure the headhunter does put one shot and get through the enemy RC. Once the warden is going to take down that bomb tower, I'm going to go with that fireball onto the monolith and an invisibility spell. Boom, here we go with the fireball. Make sure again the warden goes to the left, and before you do like your queen and king, I was making sure, and he went to the left. Now we're going with the king ability on the queen with the log launcher, and we're gonna go with the healers, mini warden, wall breaker for the king to have access to the other compartments. This is where you want to help the warden rage him up. Also the earthquake spell going to give access to the king to the queen. You can see how beautiful this sweep works. Unfortunately, some of the healers switch to the king, so make sure you drop spells for your queen. Support her because she can do very well. Now on this attack also, I dropped the RC around where the warden is, because you can see the front of the warden. We got queen, ricochet cannon, expo, and later on another expo. There was a lot of damage, so I wanted to get through it with the warden. King ability, queen with the rage spell. You can see now we have the last compartment left on the 6 o'clock side. This is where, because you want to keep the heroes alive, you want to start with the Lalo. I know at this point, maybe I would say the army would finish the base. There's a lot of attacks that the army might finish the base. That's just the power of the troops, and not the troops, the heroes and the equipment. But this army is just so enjoyable. It's really OG Lalo. When you're dropping those loons, you will realize how good they feel, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Another crushing attack. The link of this army will be down below in the description. Take care, see you later, and peace.